Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. All-Star Race Weekend continues here in the 5th season of the NCAA Hersheys Cup Series as we get set now to find out who will be the 5 final drivers that will make their way into this season's Hersheys Cup Series All-Star Race. This is the Hersheys Shootout as we get ready for 3 segments in which, as I said, 5 drivers will get slots 29 through 33 in this season's, I think, largest All-Star Race field. Seth Cole coming to you live here from Charlotte Motor Speedway, being joined in this commentator's booth by 2 guys that might want to get a little bit of an idea of what this track's going to bring to the table with $1 million on the line tomorrow night. There are a couple of drivers out of the Retro Racing Enterprises stable. First off, he's going to be starting the All-Star Race from the 7th position. He drives the number 03 Hersheys Chevrolet, Charles Sanford.
Hello, Seth. We've already broken the double-edge area, fourth wall, whatever you want to call it. Yep.
Absolutely. And also, he joined me for Eldora, and now he's joining me here for this Hersheys Shootout. He's going to be starting a little bit deeper in the pack in the 22nd position, driver of the number 09 Kings Island Chevrolet, Kyle Matthews.
What's going on, everybody? Good to be here. Always love All-Star Weekend. This Open's going to be fun to watch.
No doubt about it. 3 segments, as I said, and this is basically how it's going to go down as far as the rules here tonight. In our first segment, which is going to be 20 laps, caution flags will count. The top 2 drivers that finish first and second in the segment, they automatically move on to the All-Star Race. They don't have to worry about the rest of the stuff that happens here tonight. Everybody that's left, they'll move on to segment 2. Again, 20 laps, caution flags will count, and just like in segment 1, the top 2 in segment 2, they will move into the All-Star Race. That will leave us with the remaining field to battle for 10 laps in a fight-to-the-finish, caution-free 10-lap dash, and only the winner of that segment will move on to the final spot in the All-Star Race. And one thing, too, that you'll notice that's on this grid here is there's a little bit of a loophole for some of these drivers. If a mechanical problem happens that is not contact or wreck related, the driver can be back on the grid for the following segment. But if a driver retires out of the race, whether it's due to engine problems due to a wreck or damage due to a wreck, they do not move on to any future segment. So guys, obviously a lot on the line in not just the last segment, but also in the first 2 as well.
Absolutely. It kind of reminds me of the All-Star Race that NASCAR had back in 2001. I mean, where drivers could actually get into, have backup cars after it started raining on the opening lap. I mean, so this is quite a twist here.
Go ahead. Sorry.
As the command has been given.
And, yep, so Kat Teller going to line up on the pole alongside of Brooke Allen. And we actually have an in-race reporter for this race as well, coming out of retirement, taking part here in this one-off non-points event. Going to try and race his way into the All-Star Race. He's driving another entry out of the Michael Norman Motorsports camp. You'll see his red Chevrolet back there. I think he's starting
next to last row.
Yeah, Mr. Michael Norman is our in-car audio driver tonight. Michael, have you got a copy?
Yes, I do. How's it going?
Well, Michael, you're starting at the very back of the pack, and I mean, 20 laps here in this first segment. Is that enough time to get to the front? Apparently, we're having some technical difficulties.
Sorry, say that one more time. Sorry, my crew chief was talking to me.
You're starting near the back of the pack. You got 20 laps to get up to the top 2 spots in this segment. Is there enough time in 20 laps to get to the top 2 spots?
Oh, absolutely. It's plenty of time to get to going. I got to get ready to race here, but I definitely will be getting up there.
All right, we'll be talking to Michael during the course of this race. As the green flag is out, we're underway here in this Hersheys Shootout segment number 1. So, Charles and Kyle, I'm going to pose the question to you guys. Obviously, you want to be in those top 2 spots, but it's early on. How hard do you race in this field to try and get up to the front?
I would. Go ahead.
I was looking at this way. You gotta, in order to, you gotta be in it to win it. I mean, I wouldn't do anything too crazy, early on. I'd try to at least make sure I'm there at the end, where it really counts. But you gotta position yourself as well. So there's a bit of a balancing act you gotta do.
I would look at it depending on which line I'm in. If I'm on the bottom, I'm going to be aggressive trying to get up to the front. But the moment I get shoved out, there's no... Usually when it comes to Charlotte, once you get up out the bottom line, you're going backwards anyway, so try and just take it easy at that point.
Well, Tim Walsh was aggressive. He got to the front, and there you see Al Lagacy in the 9 car do his inside. Now we've got a number of drivers that race full-time here in the Hersheys Cup Series. They're trying to get into the All-Star race, but guys like that 9 car out in front, Al Lagacy, he races in the Tax Slayer Truck Series. There's a number of drivers that are in one-off rides here tonight that, you know, it's kind of almost like a showcase, almost like an audition for them, you know, showing some of these Hersheys Cup Series teams. You might want to be looking in my direction next season.
Absolutely, no better way to get your name out there than, you know, in one of these cars than this race right here.
Ooh, wow.
And the concern obviously going to be off turn 4 every time.
Yep, that high side. 3 wide can happen here. But yeah, like you said, Charles, that high side off turn 4, a lot of drivers carry a little too much speed and they scrape that wall. So they can make it work, but the drivers behind them have to be aware they may have to lift a little bit if they get a tiny bit of that safer barrier.
I think they've come close to wrecking a couple of times. I think it was, I can't tell what number it was, one of the Fastenal cars got up there close to, I think he got into the wall and somehow they kept it together, but they're pushing the issue, that is for sure.
Up front, Gabriel
Especially with
Wanderley.
so few spots, though.
Up front, you got Gabriel Wanderley going for the race lead off of Al Lagacy, and right behind them is Pichu London. So right now, the top 3 spots are currently swept by one-off drivers. The first full-time drivers, Tim Walsh there in that 4th position.
You know, we've seen so many times in this series, you know, in the race for drivers that are not locked into the Hersheys Cup Series field. I mean, we've seen drivers, you know, make their way into the field and be really competitive. In fact, we've seen them win some races too. So, you know, no question, these guys can do the same thing. These guys that are out of the Truck Series.
I gotta think too. I was looking at the fact that we're gonna have 33 total drivers in tomorrow night's All-Star race. For you guys, that's only 6 drivers less than the amount of drivers you're going to be facing off against in the Coke 600. So, I mean, would you be able to use anything you learned from the All-Star race in the Coke 600 next week?
I think definitely it will give us a good sign of how long it might take us to get back to the front once we're from the back. Fuel mileage, obviously, another thing we can figure out a little bit about in the All-Star race. So I think those 2 things can definitely carry over.
Yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, the field is just a little bit shorter, you know, than a regular field would be. So yeah, I mean, this is a prime testing opportunity. I mean, especially if, you know, especially if, you know, our cars aren't really good enough to win, we can still experiment and see what we can do and apply that to the Coke 600, definitely.
See right there, this battle going on between the 47 of Wanderley, the 6 of Pichu London. Now, this is a battle for a transfer spot. Yes, the 9 car of Lagacy is out in front, but he would transfer, and so would the second place driver. So it's almost looking like these drivers right now, they're more focused on battling for second place than trying to gang up on that Twisted T Ford Fusion. Big battle back here for 3rd place. And to Charles' point, as far as in the All-Star race, being able to figure out as far as fuel mileage, fuel strategy to apply in the Coke 600.
Oh!
Wow, Michael
16.
Whitman. That was close. That was
That's
a
the second
shot.
time. Yeah, that's the second time
definitely
that's
got the
happened.
wall to be worried that he didn't pancake the right side of that car.
I'd be surprised if we didn't. That was one of the harder licks we've seen there in the turn 4 wall tonight. But these drivers, they will not have to worry about fuel. They can go 20 laps without having to come to pit road. So pit stops, pit road, anything like that will not come into play. It's just about who's got the fastest piece and who's able to get up towards the front of the field. And you got to think now we've reached halfway through this first segment, there could be guys near the rear of the field we could start checking off that probably won't be in the hunt for transferring in this one. But keep in mind, 3rd place finisher in this segment, they start on the pole for the second segment. So where you finish in this one's where you start in the next one. So these guys near the back, they're just trying to fight for the best starting spot possible in segment 2, I think.
Oh, that, and I see the field starting to spin. Maybe some guys towards back know that their car's not handling the best, trying to wait for that caution maybe get a pit stop here and also make some adjustments and come towards the front next stage.
Yeah, track position seems to be really important. I mean, we've seen the 47 and 9, I mean, up front throughout this entire segment. Nobody's really been able to... I don't think anybody's led other than those two. Maybe the 6 has, I'm not real sure, but these guys have been up front the entire time.
The 15's led a lap or two at the beginning.
Yep.
Okay, and he's still right up there in the top 10, so... Yeah, track position is important, as we can see.
Does it kind of surprise you guys that they haven't been racing quite as aggressive in terms of, you know, not giving room, possibly having a caution here in this first segment?
Not in the first segment, just because you mentioned up front that if they wreck out, then that's it anyway. At least if they keep their car in one piece, maybe they don't have the car capable of being top 2, but they at least still have a shot to get one of the other 3 or 4 spots that are up for grabs.
Good point.
I mean...
What was that, Kyle?
They've come close. I mean, they've been... You know, we've seen them go 3 wide several times already tonight. They've come close to wrecking, and thankfully they haven't wrecked yet. But yeah, they're being cautiously aggressive, I guess you could say.
Minding P's and Q's.
For the moment. I'll tell you though, obviously there's a lot on the line in this first segment. When we start getting into the second segment, especially the third segment, you gotta think that the anticipation, maybe even, you know, the adrenaline, the worriment that you're not gonna get into the All-Star race, it's gonna ratchet up.
Oh, there's 3 wide there.
That's Tim Walsh way up top. He's going to get the wall. And remember that 47. Look at this. We're looking at Gabriel Wanderer. He's back up to 6th. He had gotten the wall pretty good off of turn 4 at one point. Dropped from 2nd place out of the transfer spot,
lap
which
car?
now is held by Brooke Allen. Oh, yeah, there is a lap car.
Yeah, a lap car.
That's the 37 of Kyle Thomas. Now, also keep in mind that as long as you finish the race, if you're a lap down or anything, you're going to get back on the lead lap. So this isn't exactly going to hurt the 37, but he will undoubtedly start dead last in the second segment.
I'd be more worried about the leaders that are going to come up and try and pass him here.
That 37 is a teammate to Gabriel Wanderley, but looks like he's
and
actually
he's blocking
him.
his teammate
Yep,
there.
him and DJ Curtis down there on the bottom. And look at this battle for second. I mean, next time by, 3 laps to go in this segment, and the 6 of Peachy London, the 3 of Brooke Allen, they are fighting tooth and nail for that final transfer spot in this segment.
Definitely are, and
haven't really talked a whole lot about her yet, and she's quietly moved her way up there into a transfer spot, and I can see in the distance there her car owner Michael Norman making very good progress so far.
Gabriel Wanderley going to move into 4th place, and keep in mind this mod runs with the CTS physics, so a bigger pack of cars is going to gobble these top 3 up, so that second position is not completely in the grasp of Peachy London just yet. There's still a ways to go.
I don't even think that leads safe to say that's going to be Al Lagacy there either. These guys can easily catch him too.
Absolutely right.
Brooke Allen and Peachy London looks like they're running in a bit of a tandem. I mean, the draft, like you guys mentioned, the draft does come into play here. So yeah, they could easily run down that 9 car, and it could be anybody's race.
And look at some of these new players that are up here. Nathan Hudson, teammate to Brooke Allen, has moved up to 5th. DJ Curtis 6th. Quentin Moore in 7th. We may not have heard the last of them yet.
Doesn't look like it. They'll see the white flag this time by for the stage.
The battle has been going on mostly for 2nd place, so Lagacy might be okay. He's got about, what, maybe a car length and a half, 2 car lengths back to Brooke Allen, and now the battle's on for 3rd between London and Wanderley.
Yeah, that's just to put themselves in the position trying to overtake the 3 here. And like you said, also either that or just get the pole for the next segment.
Good point. That could be the case. They may realize they can't catch Brooke Allen, and they want the best starting spot possible for the second segment. Looks like it'll be Al Lagacy. One-off ride for Richard Petty Motorsports. He'll win segment 1, and Brooke Allen will transfer into the All-Star race as well. So their night is over. They've checked off what they wanted to do tonight, get into the All-Star race, and now they get to join us, sit back, and watch the remainder of the fun.
Gabriel Wanderley will be our pole sitter for segment 2, and that was a close finish between the 29 and the 6 there to get the outside pole.
And we know, as you said, Charles, when you're on the inside lines, when you have the opportunity to be more aggressive. So that inside line might have been what they were fighting for, whether it was for the pole or not.
It makes me kind of shocked that 29 went so hard for getting that spot from the 6.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys are racers. I mean, they see a position, they want to get it. I don't think a lot of times we kind of forget about what each position means.
So Legacy,
sometimes.
So Legacy and Allen, they'll move on to segment 2. Everybody else finished the segment, so that means they'll all be able to be a part of segment 2. Kyle Thomas will get his lap back, and now these drivers are going to have the opportunity to come to pit road, get some adjustments made, and who knows? The drivers we saw up at the front in this first segment, they may be at the back in the second segment, and we could see some new players at the front.
Very well could. I mean, these races can, change on us just like that. So who knows what we'll see in the second segment.
Well, let's go down and talk with our in-race reporter, Michael Norman. Michael, have you got us?
Sure do.
Well, obviously, I guess that first segment didn't quite go the way you wanted yourself, but one of your drivers got in, Brooke Allen, into the All-Star race. You're still starting about mid-pack, but you made some forward progress. What's your plans here in the second segment?
Just to try to get to the bottom of the track and try to get some good positions, and maybe save our tires a bit, try to get a good run at the end here.
All right, you're rolling off from that 12th position, so best of luck.
Thank you.
So Wanderley and Hudson, that's going to be the front row for this one. Another 20 laps. And now comes the question, do we see something similar to segment 1 where, they raced hard early, things got spread out, and then it seemed pretty, and I say this with air quotes, calm at the end? Or do we start to see, the aggressiveness kicked up a notch?
I think they've
we'll
got to get it up a little bit.
I think
Maybe not too much wrecking, but at least a little bit more aggressive.
Well, they're going to go 3 wide.
3 wide for the race lead. Nathan Hudson on the
Oh
inside.
boy, this is going to be bad.
This
It's going to
could
not end well.
be good. Oh, contact. Oh, the leaders!
Go.
London!
Huge.
Oh my goodness, count them. 1, 2, 3. I can't count that high. It's almost the entire field.
It's like Michael Norman was collected in that, among others.
The very colorful 23 car there was driving through.
Brandon Gonzalez, Garrett Sidner, you can see him there. That Chevrolet forefront of your screen. A lot of damage on his Dr. Pepper Chevrolet.
Well, both
That
of you
Tellier,
said
the 70.
You said it's got to pick up, and there you go.
And look at that. That's the
And
race
a lot
leader.
of side damage to 47.
Yeah.
And the 19 a little bit there in third.
So I think there were very few drivers that got through without any contact in that one.
Ironically, one of them is that place car, the 95. The big gap there because I believe the 89 crossed line in second, but hasn't gone back up here.
Yeah, that happened just before the start-finish line, and I think the caution came out before they crossed the stripe. This is a look at what happened, and it was almost 4 wide. DJ Curtis, I think, was thinking about making it 4 wide.
I think it's going to be the 19 that gets the... Well, does he get it? Or
no,
is
I
it just
think
29 gets the wall?
29 got the wall.
got the 47.
And look at that, hooks the 6 around. And these D-shaped front straightaways, they do not stay in the grass. They sweep right back up the racetrack, and it's an all-star, an all-star race opportunity.
Oh my God!
They're not going to win.
89, Quentin Moore up and over.
See Kyle
95 just
Langland.
squeaks by. The 05 actually gets through as well. John Arndt.
Cat Tellier's in it. And the
There's
70.
Michael Norman's gonna. Oh, he gets hit from behind.
I don't know. Michael might be okay. I don't.
Little
20
contact
Josh
with the left
Bewley
front.
got through.
Depending on how much damage
20
got on
just
the
managed
front,
to stop.
that's-
Crap.
Yeah, the 15,
Great job by Sekuli.
15, the 20, I think the 37, they all just stopped. Dylan Young might
37
have
was
a
already
little
back
damage.
there anyway.
Yeah, good
Probably.
point.
I would think the 37 was just trying to kind of limp around for one lap, if nothing else, just to feel out the car.
I think you might be right. So, and surprisingly, we saw the contact, the side damage that the 47 has, as well as DJ Curtis. They didn't come to pit road. They didn't want to give up that track position.
No,
Go
I
for
mean,
broke.
feel it out. See what might not even be that far off the pace, even with that damage. So you never know.
So Wanderley will restart as the race leader. We'll have to see if that side damage affects him. I don't know if it would affect him as far as speed, but aerodynamically, this is one of those kind of tracks, especially with the long back straightaway, you have to have an aero sound car. And so I'm not certain if that might cause some drag when he's out in front.
Oh, we'll have to see. I think that definitely makes the favorites here, that 95, the 98, and then the 22, second, fourth, and fifth.
And you look on further back there, the 27 of Kyle Langland, he got a little piece of that incident, and I'm trying to see, is that the 6th and 7th place? The car that spun around and brought out the caution.
Is.
So, yeah, this is a cornucopia of damaged and undamaged cars. This restart could be very interesting.
BJ Curtis with a good restart there. Tried to go to the outside. Problem was he couldn't make a move to the left because they weren't at the line yet.
Might be able to tuck down in front of JT Bryant. Yes, he does. And here you see Caleb Farrell going to go for the lead, but it doesn't look like the 47's that far off as far as speed.
Well, they're still getting up through the gears, too, so we don't know if they're going to be that far off in top speed yet.
JT Bryant's going to go to second here. He's to the inside of the 47 and see if they can survive turn 4 this time. Looks like nobody went 3 wide, which is a good thing, and they all make it through.
Yeah. And JT Bryant now going to go for the race lead. Couple of stragglers there at the back. Probably have to try and survive.
Yeah, looks like one of those with the 70 of Cat Tellier, 37, the 20.
Hard to tell some of them on whether or not they're just slow restart or actually off the pace towards the back of this lead pack.
Yeah, exactly.
Wasn't the 70 of Cat Tellier the initial pole sitter of this open race?
Yes, she was.
So wow, quite a turn of fortunes there in the worst way for her there, unfortunately.
Yeah, but if she can survive, they'll be able to repair that car, and we'll be back for segment 3.
You're looking at JT Bryant here out in front. Now, Young Motorsports was the odds-on favorite of having one of their drivers make the All-Star race because none of the Young Motorsports drivers were locked into the All-Star race. Dylan Young, Cody Smart, JT Bryant, as well as a driver that's running for them, that 21, Alexander
Curtis
Rode.
is on the wall.
Wow, he rode the wall for a good 100 feet.
Holy crap. I saw they were 3 wide back. I didn't know if they were going to wreck or not.
Not sure how we saw that 19 car. He kind of blended into that wall.
That's hard to believe. But back on the topic of Young Motorsports, man, that's hard to believe that they didn't have any entries into the All-Star race heading into this thing. I mean, you got the experience of guys like Dylan Young and JT Bryant. I mean, I'm really surprised by that.
There is Dylan Young in that Chicago Cubs Ford there up on the inside.
Yeah, well, keep in mind, Dylan Young hasn't won a race since Season 3 of the Hersheys Cup Series. And JT Bryant, he did have a win last year, but it came before last year's All-Star race. So his win at Dover got him into last year's All-Star race, but he hadn't won since then.
Very interesting.
Michael Whitman there in the 16. Now, we've already seen Brooke Allen race her way into the All-Star race. Now, Michael Whitman is not driving a Michael Norman Motorsports Chevrolet tonight. He's driving a Ford for Roush Fenway Racing. However, he does drive the number 33 for Michael Norman Motorsports in the Tax Slayer Truck Series. So having a good night tonight in that Ortho Ford Fusion. And John Ark.
3 wide off turn 2 is not one of the problem spots, but I don't think he can miss that 23. Holy colors.
I thought they were going to go 4. I thought they were going to go 4 wide. That would have been a definite mess right there. I'm glad they thought better of it. But 3 wide
just
off
purely
4.
from colors, that's the car I'm going to keep my eye on. Is that 23?
If
Holy
the
crap.
23 hit the yellow wall, would we ever know?
I don't know. There's probably some yellow on the side of that.
There probably is.
And look,
I think he's got the whole rainbow.
And look, he's working his way up into contention right here. Our in-race reporter, Michael Norman, in that number 8 car, the Exalta Chevrolet, the Dale Jr. Special.
Well, what did he say? If he can get to the bottom, he can work his way to the front, and that's exactly what he's been able to do. He started this segment on the outside of row 6. Oh, there goes the car around! Jonathan Zorlin into Sakuli.
Oh, boy.
And they're still piling in.
Okay, they're still piling, yeah.
Pichu London, I think Gabriel
There's still
Wanderley.
a couple more cars back here, too, that we haven't even seen come in. They were off pace.
Oh, boy.
I don't know where, but okay.
Nathan Hudson's got damage. I don't know if that was from this incident or from the earlier wreck.
Oh.
Cat Tellier comes
a lot of damage
flying in.
there.
There's Sakuli.
Yeah.
And
there's Sidner. And
there's your stragglers.
The 89's still driving?
The 89 is still driving.
Okay, then.
He's racing with Jesus. What do you expect?
I was thinking the same thing, yeah.
See what happened here. This was right behind our in-race reporter, Michael Norman.
And there's actually going to be 2 wrecks here, too.
Oh, Dylan Young got the wall, bounced into the 33.
That's
what started it.
I don't know if the 98 turned him
I thought
or
there was going
not.
to be 2.
There might have not been any contact in there. You see, just again, sweeps up the track. Nowhere for Sakuli to go.
Nice job by Tim Walsh to get through
How
that
is
in
the 23
15.
missing this?
I don't know. The power of paint.
And there's the 47.
Yep. And keep in mind, like I said, the players we see at the front in segment 2 may not be the ones we saw in segment 1. The 47 and the 6 were up inside the top 3 for most of segment 1. They got involved in this wreck.
And now we're going to have to question whether or not they even will be a part of segment 3 because of the damage.
Good point. Jonathan Zorlin, former winner this season in the Tax Layer Truck Series, but a lot of damage he sustained there. And we've got a new car out in front. That is the 17 of Patrick Smith, who is also in the Tax Layer Truck Series. And there you see, to your point, Charles, Kyle Langland, Gabriel Wanderley, Pichu London, and Joshua Sakuli. Their all-star race hopes come to an end.
Top 2 of the strongest
I
cars
didn't
we've
see the
seen
27 in
open.
that. I don't remember seeing him in there.
I thought I saw him miss the wreck, to be honest. I saw him, and I think it was the 37 of Kyle Thomas. They were up on the top side getting around the wreck, so maybe there was something that happened that we didn't see.
I guess, maybe.
Green flag back out, 4 laps to go, so it's go time now for these guys at the front.
It's like the top 4 or the top 5 right there. You got a good restart. The 6th place car, I believe that's the 95, kind of didn't get so good of a start here.
Right now
Looks
it's
like
Ford, Chevy, Ford, Chevy, the top 5.
And how many did you say advance out of this one too? Again?
Top 2.
Still 2, yep.
I thought for a moment there you were going to see maybe the Roush Fenway teammates work together. The 17 and the 16 started first and second, but Whitman's been kicked high and dry, and now it's Patrick Smith out in front showing the way, and the battle's on for second. Alexander Rowe going to take the spot, but not for long. Here comes Michael Norman.
Boy, Michael doesn't have a lot of rust, apparently, here. He's gotten around here really good. And really shouldn't be real surprised. I believe in Season 3, the last time he raced, he actually went to victory lane at Charlotte in the Coca-Cola 600.
In the Coca-Cola 600, you are absolutely right. Wow, you have a better memory than me. Why aren't you doing this job? Right now, though, Patrick Smith showing the way, and like I said, Patrick Smith, no stranger to racing. He's actually been one of the more consistent drivers this season in Tax Layer Truck Series, driving that number 41 Dodge Ram. Still looking for his first career win, though, but like I said, for these one-off drivers, it's kind of an opportunity to showcase what they've got, and who knows, we could very well see them in a full-time chartered ride next year in the Hersheys Cup Series.
White flag here for this second segment, and it's like the top 2 are in pretty good shape here. See if the 16 and everybody else behind them can make a run here on this last lap.
If there is a battle, it's going to probably be for second, because I think the gap is closer. And here comes Whitman. He's going to try and make it 1-2 for Roush Fenway.
I have to say, you talked about the Roush Fenway cars trying to work together. I don't know if they're really working together here, but they could come out of here both advancing.
Whitman's going to pull ahead, and he will get the spot. It's
and
a
for
sweep.
the pole will be the 95.
Yes, indeed. Caleb Farrell will start on the pole for the next and final segment, and Roush Fenway Racing go 1-2 in this segment, and will have at least 2 entries in the All-Star race.
I think it was the 17 car that I saw in that first segment that bounced off the wall and kept it together, and they did a nice job of repairing that car, obviously, and he's going to move on to the All-Star race. So nice job by those guys.
I mean, just look at our top 5. You got Smith, Whitman, Farrell, Rowe, and Norman. When did we talk about them in segment 1? Hardly at all.
Other than talking to Michael, yeah.
Right. So Smith and Whitman, they will move on. Everybody else, with the exception of those 4 that DNF'd, they are going to have only 10 laps, caution-free, to get one final spot in the All-Star race. And obviously a tough break there for Langland, Wanderley, London, and Sakuli. Their night ends early, but nonetheless, it's going to leave us, 18 drivers to battle for the final available spot in the All-Star race.
And 3 of those are rookies. Holy crap. Only 3 rookies in this entire field. That's kind of surprising.
Well, actually, a lot of the other ones are rookies, too. If you look, Alexander Rowe, Patrick Smith, Michael Whitman. The reason they don't have the rookies after them, though, is they don't run for Rookie of the Year honors this season since they're one-off drivers.
Makes sense.
Yep.
Boy, this
Not much
final
does here,
segment
but
you
that
mentioned, You mentioned caution-free. I'm a little concerned about what
You're
what we're
concerned?
about to
Let's
see
find
here.
out. Let's find out about our in-race reporter how concerned he is. Michael, have you got us?
Of course I do.
All right, so you're starting third. You had a much better segment 2 than segment 1. But now, 10 laps, no cautions. Is there a strategy?
Nope, just go for it. That's all I can do. hope
right.
it sticks. That's really all I can do.
Well, it's going to
Never
be fun
lift.
to watch. That's right, never lift.
Never live.
All right, so we'll see what Michael can do here. 18 drivers, only one spot up for grabs. And actually, it's kind of surprising. Out of the 4 drivers that have transferred so far, only one driver, that being Brooke Allen, runs full-time in Hersheys Cup Series. The other 3 have been one-off drivers that have made the All-Star race. Let's see if it's going to be a 4th, or will we have our second full-time driver? 10 laps, green flag. Next flag we'll see will be the white flag.
And here we go, Michael Norman making it
Oh,
through.
never
Going
lift.
into turn 1. He said he'd just go for it, and that's what he's doing.
Working that strategy to perfection. Wait, oh no, it wasn't even a strategy. Never mind.
See
Well,
pass a car.
he's
That's the strategy.
He's taking the phrase and making it work.
There you go. But now he's got problems to the inside. John Arndt going to take that top position. And it's kind of interesting. Now you're starting to see some of your veterans working towards the front in this one. Arndt, JT Bryan, of course, Michael Norman drove the first, 3 seasons of Hersheys Cup Series competition. So you're starting to also see.
Yeah, so he's definitely no rookie.
hey, look, the car that we saw go a lap down in segment 1, Kyle Thomas, is up to 3rd.
Wow, that's
Talk about a comeback.
absolutely. And
Oh,
there goes Norman
Michael!
and Matt.
Oh, into his teammate Hudson. Alexander Rose in it. Seth Cole, Caleb Farrell. But guess what? We're still green. It doesn't matter if there's a wreck.
Buddy in your channel timed out.
And we're having technical difficulties. Charles Sanford has had problems.
God damn it, guys. I'm sorry.
It's okay. You made a beautiful smoke screen. John Arndt gonna drive through that smoke screen, and now looks like we've only got 5 contenders. As we take a look here, courtesy of the NNSCRA split cam, of what happened. We don't have the luxury of a caution and pacing laps to go back and see what happened.
It's like Michael bounced off the wall and got done. I can't tell who that was.
Alexander Rowe.
Ends up flipping his teammate, adding insult to injury right there. Nathan Hudson in the 29, and it's just on from there. You really can't do much. Everybody on the outside there just in a real bad spot, and there you have it.
Kat Tellier, Alexander Rose, Seth Cole. Looks like Caleb Farrell also got a piece of that. And with everybody checking up to miss the wreck, that's what's left us with what you see at the top of your screen. Only 5 drivers. Now, theoretically, 4 drivers in the running for this victory. John Arndt, DJ Curtis, Cody Smart, JT Bryant, and then a far lingering Kyle Thomas. Now, if you're 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, we're halfway through this segment. You know, you got to work together, stay in a single file line to be able to catch up to that 05, because with the CTS physics, it wouldn't take much to catch the draft of that Reddit Chevrolet and get right back up to his back bumper, but you got to stay in line.
Makes me wonder. I mean, we've got some slower cars out there now due to that accident. Could they come into play here lately going?
Saw Kat Tellier leaving pit road. There was another car there that was on the apron. I couldn't tell.
8 car. It was Norman there in the 8.
So you're right. That could be a factor. We'll have to wait and see. But the thing that is not on the side of second on back is the lap count, because it's 4 to go, 3 to go next time by. They're running single file, though. I think that's their strategy. They're trying to catch back up to John Arndt.
They got no choice. That's what they got to do, and you know, that'll work if they can just be patient enough to get to the back bumper. But well, I thought there was going to be a battle for second there, but they thought better of it, and they are catching John Arndt. So they just got to keep this up here.
John Arndt drives for AS Racing. Only entry they have in the All-Star race so far is Jake Baskinger's 5. DJ Curtis running for Joe Gibbs Racing. They've got an entry in the All-Star race with James Richardson, and as we mentioned, Young Motorsports up to this point has nobody representing them in the All-Star race, and they've got Cody Smart and JT Bryant in 3rd and 4th. 2 laps to go as they hit the stripe, and that gap between the 05 and those other 3 is closing, and there's traffic ahead.
Just as I thought. I mean, these slower cars could come in, could play a factor. Nathan Hudson in the 29. So we saw JT Bryant look to the inside of his teamate.
Oh,
and
gonna get held up, and here comes DJ. DJ gonna try and make the move. Can he get it to the inside? Arndt through the block.
It's like Cody Smart's going to get held up by Nathan Hudson. That might take him out of contention as they come to the white flag. We have ourselves a race on our hands.
John Arndt, DJ Curtis, JT Bryant, Chevy, Toyota, Ford. Who's going to get the final spot into the All-Star race? Curtis has lost a little bit of ground, it looks like.
It looks like it. John Arndt is able to pull away just a little bit. That could be all she wrote, unless there's a slower lap car up ahead, which I do not see.
I don't know if
John Arndt.
DJ Curtis might have had a little bit of damage from an earlier wreck. But nonetheless, John Arndt is going to win the 10-lap dash. He will lock up the final spot in the All-Star race for the Hersheys Cup Series in Season 5.
I think once John Arndt got out in front, I mean, that's all he needed. Didn't have any challenge. Well, he had some challengers, but I mean, nobody was able to get by him. So a great job by him. He just put the pedal to the metal, and was able to get it done.
So the final tally of the drivers that make it in: Al Lagacy and Brooke Allen get in via segment 1, Patrick Smith and Michael Whitman in segment 2, and John Arndt will start 33rd for the All-Star race, winning segment 3. So that is going to do it. Everybody else, good showings for them, but going to come up short being able to race for $1 million. But that is going to do it here for tonight's race. I know, Charles, Kyle, you guys have quite a task on your hands tomorrow night. You guys are going to be racing for that $1 million check.
Yeah, kind of. After seeing how intense it got out here just for the Open, I can imagine how intense it's going to be in the main race. I'm kind of worried, not going to lie here.
I'm not that worried. I always go out just want to have some fun on that night, learn some stuff for the next week. If we win, we win. If not, well, it's not a points race. So should be fun tomorrow night. And thank you for having us in the booth tonight.
Well, it was a pleasure having you guys. Want to wish you luck in tomorrow night's All-Star race, and hope that everybody watching enjoyed tonight's race. If you did, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to become part of the crew today. These are your full finisher results from your final segment. Again, the drivers that make it in.
But I think we should check in with Michael Norman one last time, see how it went here. Checking in with our in-race reporter.
Yeah, Michael, have you got us?
Yeah, well, now that I have the NNSCRA headset on for our pit reporters, yeah, I got you.
Yeah, obviously that was a tough break for you. Getting involved in that wreck there on the last segment, but
hey, I had to try.
Absolutely. Hey, never lift.
Yeah, right. That was an expendable car.
The Seth Cole mentality.
It was, and I know I hate that I had to take out my teammate in the process, but I just lost traction coming off of 4 when I was up that high, and I just ended up hitting the wall and coming down and onto somebody, and it just turned me right into Nathan. Feel bad for him, feel bad for us, but race is races, and I'll be up in the booth probably when we do for the All-Star race, and so it'll be fun.
Michael, I have a question. Did this race make you glad that you're retired, or did it make you want to get out there and race more?
I mean, it's I'm enjoying the retired offline life, to be honest. But I do occasionally miss it, which is why I do a lot of these one race deals. So you'll see me in a lot of special events, I'm sure.
Anything out there you're able to learn that you're going to be able to apply to Brooke Allen's performance tomorrow night, you think?
Well, considering that we're two different race car drivers, what I learned wouldn't exactly might not work for her. She has her own list of setups, and I just have my crew guys go out and put in what she likes.
All right. Well, it was a lot of fun watching you out there. Hope you enjoyed yourself. Tough break you didn't make it into the All-Star race, but still lots of fun to watch.
Close enough.
Absolutely. So be sure to check out these guys' channels. I'll be leaving the links to their channels down in the description. Like Michael said, even though he didn't make the All-Star race, he'll probably be joining me in the booth for the All-Star race. And once again, want to wish Charles and Kyle best of luck in tomorrow night's All-Star race, as you guys will be running for $1 million. So until then, that's next up on the schedule. You've been watching a production of the NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best.
Alright, I'm gonna go take a shower before I go into work later, so I'll be right back.
Okay, I didn't stop recording, by the way. I'll keep
Oh.
that in.